Hello and welcome to another installment of Faces of JAF. Today I have with me Brent Crouch, who is a good friend of Joe and mine, as well as the foundation's. Welcome, Brent. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to know the organization?
I joined JAF or got introduced to JAF following cancer diagnosis 2017, going through treatment. When my family and I got through that, we really wanted to try and find a way to give back to folks that didn't have the resources we had. I had a very fortunate employer. They were fantastic to me and my family throughout, really good medical care, and quickly realized not everybody has that. Not everybody has an advocate for them like JAF can be for patients and families. And we really started searching for an organization that we could be a part of and give back to others. And we're introduced to you and Joe, and have been part of it ever since and enjoying it.
We're very fortunate. I go back and I think about the first time that we sat at that cafe to have breakfast, and you shared your story of your cancer journey and what it meant. It appeared, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it appeared that the conversation that you and Joe had, was intimate in the way that you could actually talk to another cancer survivor, and it was not a norm that you can go out and talk to somebody in your age range, and that has experienced it, and that entire family experienced it.
That's right. It's really different when you get to talk to somebody that's been through a similar experience. Every experience is different. Every diagnosis is different, but everybody goes through something that's not easy on them. And more importantly, and I often think even more difficult, is for our families. As you and your family obviously found out firsthand. It's grueling. It's grueling for the patient. It's grueling for the family. And you do establish a bond with other families that have gone through something similar. And it's one of the things that draws us into JAF so much.
We're facing a new normal, right? We're going forward into what is this new normal and COVID-19 pandemic, and such a scary time for us as we're sitting here healthy right now. What are the things that kind of have come top of mind to you for those cancer patients and families that are in active treatment? I know there's so many times I've sat and thought, oh my, I can't even imagine if Joe was in active treatment right now, right? He was like inpatient. So our family would have been very broken up.
That's right. I remember back, it was scary thinking that you could get sick or that a family member could get sick and you could get sick via them. The whole idea of it was scary enough then. I can't imagine what families and patients are going through now, just with this added layer of, so many folks going through this and such a higher possibility of actually getting sick with something that could be catastrophic to them and their families. So I think we have that in common, and it makes it even more important, the mission that you all are doing today, and the reason it's so much out there, and I think important for folks to help when they can. Not everybody's in a position to, but for those that are, I think it's really important that they've been able to do the things that we've seen people step up and help with.
Right. Yeah. As a family that it has experienced the cancer diagnosis, you understand the cost of cancer that it brings to the family, not only, the physical and mental struggle, but the additional costs. And that's where the Joe Andruzzi Foundation does step in and supports cancer patients, single family and larger families, through the help of rent and mortgage and utilities and food. Some of our supporters have thought of some really creative ways to help during this pandemic. And I know you and your family have pitched in and started a fun campaign, and you've gotten your kids involved. So let's hear about that.
You're right. So this hairdo is not my normal. I'm normally wearing a suit and tie to work every day, and so this doesn't really go normally. It was just that we were sitting around as a family. One of our neighbors had actually cut his hair in a mohawk style, and we were kind of laughing about it. But then brainstorming what we could do as a family to try and help and raise funds for those that are struggling right now. Sort of as a collaboration, we came up with the idea that what if it was a challenge? What if we challenged our friends and our neighbors to shave a mohawk for Corona mohawk and either donate or spread the word? And that's what we've done. And it's been a lot of fun. We've had people from all across the country participate. We've raised, thousands of dollars to date. And it's just been a really fun way for those of us at home feeling a little bit helpless, to try to help those that are not in as fortunate of a position, and trying to give back a little bit. And it's been nice, and it's brought a lot of folks together that otherwise wouldn't be together, and
Yeah.
it makes for some funny pictures online as well.
I know you got one of Joe and our son CJ. They're still sporting their mohawks actually, and I'm sure they will be for quite some time. As long as they've kind of said, as long as they're home from school, and it looks like we're home from school, right? So
Right.
I don't envision their style changing anytime soon. But they were very appreciative to join and to share the picture. And Brent, we can't thank you enough for what you're helping the Joe Andruzzi Foundation do and tell our story. And myself and you as a development committee member, we know all of the wonderful things the organization does for families and cancer patients. But once you create that momentum in that community, which you have done through your supporter hosted event, it then has the ripple effect to spread to new families, and that's the goal. That's the goal, is to share what a community can do for their members. And JAF is helping all 6 New England states. And if you got this, across multiple states, I'm sure there's many people that are going to be touched because of them. So thank you for that. And on an upbeat note, what are the things that are keeping you and the kids positive during this time?
For us, it's the fun things we get to do as a family that we've never done. I've never had breakfast, lunch, and dinner together as a family for this many weeks in a row. So we're grateful for that. We've got more projects started than we may finish. There's lumber for a treehouse. There's lumber for a new shed. We've got the garden in. And, so we are all in on being home together and trying to make the best of it. But like everybody else, we have our days where we all need to be in separate parts of the house and find our own space. But, we're
Yeah.
grateful for the time.
Well, thank you for taking time today. Please give your family my best. And Brent, we're very fortunate to have you a part of the organization as well as your family. So thank you for sharing your story.
Love it. Happy to be here and happy to be a part of it. Thanks for having me, Jen.